From great stories to tales of intrigue, we present WCRS Radio Stage. Please join us for this exercise of the imagination with radio drama. Today, a story by David E. Binkley. That sound tells us there's only 15 seconds till curtain time, so get comfortable in your chair as we go to Studio X, and WCRS Radio Stage presents the story, A Game of Chicken. Few things are more awkward than living through the teenage years, but there is one thing that could be, and that would be to go back and relive those good old years in the guise of a class reunion. Those memories may not always be fun. One may relive times of uncertainty, fear, and sometimes the love that never was. And that is what has drawn Mr. George McGravitt to his 20-year class reunion in Newcastle, Pennsylvania.
I noticed you sitting here, and you looked so lonely. I thought that I'd come over and see if you wanted to talk or something. Do you mind if I sit down?
Huh? Sure, but you should have a better pickup line than that.
I really hate these things, don't you?
What things are you referring to?
You know, class reunions.
I don't know why I came here tonight. I'm not really good in crowds. I just sort of blend in, and then nobody even notices me.
I noticed you, and I know why you came.
Oh, really? Tell me then. Why did I come here?
It's the biggie, the 20-year class reunion. First, you wanted to see if anyone would show up who you would recognize. And secondly, you wanted to see if anyone would recognize you.
That's amazing. How did you know that?
Because that's why I came here tonight. In fact, that's why 90% of the people came here tonight.
What about the rest of the people?
Well, 2% came because they got stuck on the reunion committee last reunion. And the last 8% came because they think they are so completely wonderful, they just couldn't wait to show everyone. I see you don't like wearing name tags any more than I do. I'm George McGravitt. And you are?
Tricia Yarrow.
Oh, no, you're not.
I'm not? Well, who am I then?
You are Tricia Neely.
Ah, that's very good. But I haven't been Tricia Neely for quite some time. That was 17 years, 2 children, and several pounds ago.
I'll tell you, Tricia, I didn't notice any extra pounds. But that smile of yours will always give you away. By the way, you forgot to mention the divorce. I notice your ring finger.
What are you, a detective?
No, just a guy who has had a crush on you since the 11th grade. Yarrow. I guess that means you must have married Charlie Yarrow.
That's the first time that you've been wrong tonight. I married his brother, Jimmy. He was a couple of years behind us.
Gee, that's the second time I've been wrong this month.
George McGravitt. I can't place your name.
Think all you want, but you'll never place me. I was heavier, had glasses, and was never in any of your classes.
Well, then how did you ever come to have this crush on me?
It happened when you came to my rescue.
I came to your rescue?
That's right. It was only my second day in the school, and you fussed at 2 guys who were on the wrestling team. They were really hassling me, and you told them to pick on someone their own size. They said if I was a friend of yours, then they would leave me alone. And they did.
Funny. I don't remember it.
And I never forgot it. From that moment on, I admired you from afar, as the poets used to say. I would see you in the hallway. I would look for you in assemblies. And no matter where you sat during lunch period, I was always exactly 2 tables away. Close enough to see you, yet not close enough to be noticed.
So what happened? Why didn't you ever talk to me?
I was new at school. Our family just moved to Newcastle my junior year. I didn't know anyone my own age. You, on the other hand, you were always surrounded by your friends. I had a complete lack of confidence. In short, I was chicken.
You certainly don't lack confidence now.
That was a lot of years ago, Tricia, and I've done a lot of things and worked very hard to overcome my fears. But I wouldn't be sitting here now if the impression on your ring finger wasn't worn away as much as it is. I may not be chicken anymore, but I'm no fool either. I wouldn't mess with another man's wife, even if I did have a crush on her for the last 21 years.
So, now you know the story of my last 20 years. What about yours?
Oh, I've done a lot of things. I've jumped out of a plane, parasailed, hand glided off a cliff, fought a ghost, flew some experimental planes.
Wait, back up a little. You fought a ghost?
I guess we really didn't fight. It was more like a game that we played, and I won.
You've got to tell me about it.
I'll tell you what, you get up on the dance floor with me, promise not to laugh too hard at my footwork, I'll tell you all about it.
You got yourself a deal, mister.
I'm warning you right now. I'm pretty light on my feet. I'll probably be heavy on yours, but light on mine.
Oh, gosh, I'm so glad I came tonight. I haven't felt this good in a long time.
Maybe it's been a while since you've had an adventure. So how long have you been divorced, Tricia?
About 3 years. But look, this dance is supposed to be about you and your ghost. You're a better dancer than you are a liar. You really didn't meet up with a ghost, did you?
Some people said there was a ghost, and some people said there wasn't. I'll tell you the story. You can decide the matter for yourself.
Sounds fair to me.
Let's see. After I graduated, I decided to go to Defiance College.
Where's that?
Defiance is a small college town in northwestern Ohio. It's about 250 miles away from here. To me, it was a perfect location. Far enough away from home to be away from my parents, but close enough to go home for a home-cooked meal every third or fourth weekend.
That's even further away than I made it on my honeymoon. What led you to Defiance?
Believe it or not, Defiance College at the time was one of 2 or 3 colleges in the country that had an undergraduate degree in museology.
Museology?
Yeah, that's museum studies. I don't know if anyone offers it as an undergrad degree anymore. Even Defiance dropped it a few years back. You can only get a master's degree in it now. Anyway, the best way to get to Defiance from Newcastle is practically a straight shot. You take Route 224 all the way across Ohio and catch Route 15, about 30 miles out of Defiance.
That sounds like quite a haul.
It's not really that bad. If you drive straight through, it only takes around 5 hours. But then again, I very seldom ever drove it in one straight shot. Part of the reason was because I preferred to drive late at night. You know, fewer crazies, less truckers on the road. There's a little Ohio town about 3/4 of the way from here called Willard. Let's see. I was going back to school after spring break. I was heading back to school a little early. Unlike the 2 years before, I didn't go to Florida for spring break and decided to go home and spend some time with my parents. In other words, I was broke, couldn't afford to go down. Between my mom's cooking and my dad's lectures, I really had a belly full by Thursday evening and decided to head back to campus early. I'd been on the road for, around 3 hours and was starting to think how good a cup of coffee would be at the Willard Country Kitchen. Now, 224 takes a sharp right just before entering Willard. I took the curve a little faster than I should have, and when I rounded the turn, I saw headlights of a car coming right at me. I was frozen, and everything seemed to move in slow motion. I heard this blood-curdling laugh, and just as we were about to collide, I turned sharply to the right and went off the road. I looked in my rearview mirror and saw the car driving off. The taillights were different than anything I'd seen before. It seemed to be a row of lights going up the back end of the car. But the funny thing was that the taillights just disappeared. Or had they just turned the corner? No lights could be seen, but I could still hear that laughter.
That was your ghost? Doesn't sound like you fared very well against him.
That's because that was our first meeting. When I finally started breathing a little more normal, and bone replaced the rubber that had become my legs, I got out of my car to see how much damage there was. As my luck would have it, I had only blown out my front 2 tires. Of course, all I had with me was one of those little Space Saver tires. I went back to the driver's seat, sat behind the wheel, just giving myself a chance to collect myself. After a few minutes had passed, a car pulled up behind me and stopped. I was about to get out of the car and confront him, thinking this may have been the driver of the car who had just run me off the road, when he put on his flashing lights. It was a policeman. Maybe he had seen the other car.
Are you all right in there?
I'm a little shaken, but I'm all right.
Can I see your license? What happened here, anyway?
Here you go, officer. Some car drove me off the road. When I pulled over here to get out of the way, both my front tires blew out.
So I see, Mr. McGravitt. Would you step out of the car, please?
What's going on here?
It's just routine. You were going a little fast back there. I can tell by your skid marks. Okay, now put your arms at your side and close your eyes. Now, bring your arms up level with your shoulder. Touch your nose with the index finger of your right hand. All right. Now with your left hand. Now, you don't appear to be intoxicated. Here's your license, Mr. McGravitt. I'm sorry, but I have to check things out when they look a little suspicious. You know, it is 11:15. I don't suppose you have 2 spare tires.
You suppose correctly.
Well, the garage will be open in about 8 hours. You got enough money for a night's stay, or should I drop you off at the country kitchen and tell them not to hassle you until daylight, huh?
Let me see. My mom stuffed some money into my pockets when I left home. Yeah, I've got plenty, but you could drop me off at the restaurant anyway. I could sure use a strong cup of coffee about now.
All right, hop in. You can sit up front here.
Thanks. So what kind of town are you running here, Sheriff?
What do you mean?
Well, a car came speeding out of your town and ran me off the road.
Well, now, I'll tell you what, Mr. McGravitt, I drove from out of town in this direction, and I didn't pass anyone.
Then what brought you my way?
Well, I got a call from the dispatcher who said that someone complained about 2 gunshots. Well, I guess they must have heard your tires blow out.
I don't suppose anyone complained about laughing.
Complained about what?
Skip it. Is there anyone you know in town who drives or collects classic cars?
What do you mean by classic cars? Cars like Corvettes, Mustangs?
No, more like cars from the 50s. Cars with those big fins on the back.
Nope. I don't know anyone living around here like that.
That's really an odd way of putting it. What do you mean by that?
Now, I'll tell you what. I've been a policeman for 22 years now. I'm dealing hard facts. I'm not a storyteller. If it's a story you want, go in that restaurant and tell Jenny that Bobby Bateman sent you. Last stop, everybody out.
Coming in? I'll buy you a cup of coffee.
No, thanks. I've got a ghost to catch.
Strange guy.
Just one tonight?
Yeah, 1 chair and 1 pot of coffee.
Here's your seat and your cup. I'll be right back with the coffee. Cream with that?
No, thanks. I just take it black. Oh, that does hit the spot. This is the first good thing to happen to me tonight.
Rough night?
I'm sure I've had one worse, but I can't remember it at the moment.
Want a menu now?
No, but I might in a while. By the way, I was supposed to tell you that Bobby Bateman sent me.
That jerk!
Did I say something wrong?
Hey, I'm sorry. It's just that every time